Ready.
All right, and we are live. All right, hello everybody. We do have an echo. All right, guys, welcome. Who can hear that?
I can hear it.
Yeah, somebody's got something on in the background, and it's not me. All right, let me try something. Hold on, guys. Technical, nope, that's not open.
Yeah, maybe we could. Do you think we should just go on our phones?
We're good as long as. Let me see. I don't hear my echo anymore. Okay. All right, guys. Little technical difficulty here. All right, guys. Welcome to our live.
Hi.
I'm being quiet because I can hear myself. Guys, if you are joining us right now, please hashtag I'm here, and then do me a really big favor and tell me if you can hear this echo back. Oh, I see two of you guys. Can you hear me echoing through here? Because I can hear it. But if it's just me.
Do you hear it? I hear it like cutting.
So let me know, hashtag I am here, and let me know if you guys, hello, Nancy, can you hear me echoing? Let me know, Nancy, if you can hear me echoing. We might have to leave and come back again. Can you guys hear that? Why don't you two leave and then come back again? Can you hear the echo or just
on the phones? Me? Okay. Yeah. We can hear you guys in and echoing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's echoing. Somebody's got their phone on. All right. So you guys exit out and let's make sure I'm not exiting, and then I'll bring you guys back in again. All right, guys, technical difficulties, all good.
Okay.
All right. Nancy, now am I echoing? I don't think so. All right. I knew it was on their end. Okay, guys. So while I'm waiting for Amber and Jennifer to come back, just to kind of give you guys I didn't think so. Just to kind of give you guys a little overview of what we're going to do. So we want to talk a little bit about the holidays. We've been talking about holiday meal planning. And how to really kind of navigate through it and really avoid overeating, or AKA binge eating. And today we're going to talk even a little bit more about what binge eating can be and how to really eliminate it forever. So I want to talk to you about 5 tips that I have. If you guys are tuning in right now, please do hashtag I am here. And if you guys watch this on the replay, hashtag replay. So just to kind of revisit what we've been talking about over the past week, I've done a few lives on it. I've done some coaching sessions on it within the tribe, and really just talking about like, how do you navigate the holidays and enjoy yourself without sacrifice? Well, one of the first things that I'm always going to recommend for everybody is that you really plan ahead. What do I mean by that? Think about the events that you have going on, specifically this week and into New Year's Eve. What are the events, the dinners, the things that you really want to enjoy and like take part in? And hold on, my girls are back. Let's see how this goes. And what you really want to, hello ladies.
Hi. Is it better?
I hope so. It definitely was you, because I wasn't echoing without you guys.
I tell you, it's my computer. I'm sorry.
That's all right. All right. So I'm just kind of revisiting, guys, a little bit. I'm going to come back and introduce you guys. So again, guys, like really planning ahead what it is that you want to attend, or what it is that you really want to take part in and enjoy. I lost my train of thought. These two squirrels came back in and sidetracked me. So basically what I mean by that is, if you have certain events that you're going to, or dinners like with family members or friends that you really, really love, I don't want to say the ambiance, but yes, the ambiance of it. If there's certain foods there that you really enjoy and want to enjoy every time that you go. So I use this example before, and I don't know why I use it because I've never had it before in my life. It always comes up. So if you really love grandma's bread pudding and you wait for it every year, then you should definitely have it. That's what I mean by planning. If there's events that you really want to partake in, plan around them. But what you don't want to do is, if there's other events or evenings, things that are going on that maybe don't mean as much to you. So, or, you're like, take it or leave it. Maybe you eat your meals before time, or maybe you don't indulge there. So that's kind of what I mean about planning. And a lot of the other things we're going to talk about right now really encompass everything for the holidays, as well as really basically in general. So let me touch base again on what we're talking about now that we have these two ladies back with us. So today we're going to talk about, and I just kind of touched on a little bit about binge eating around the holidays, but really talk about it as a whole and how to not just avoid it during the holidays, but to avoid it pretty much permanently. So I've got two fine little ladies over here, I can talk, that are joining me today. So we've got Amber and we have Jennifer Dittman, and I'm sure if you are in the Facebook group, they look very familiar to you, as well as if you're in the app. So say hi, ladies.
Hi. Hello.
All right, Amber, and so why don't you guys just give us a quick update on who you are, how long you've been with me, and really what one of your biggest wins is with even just being in this program.
Well, I am Coach Amber, and I've been with Jules for over a year. It's been about a year and a half. No, about a year and 2 months. And I started this whole program last October, right before all the holidays, and decided and figured out that I actually had a lot more willpower than I thought I had. So my biggest win is sticking with it and going further with Jules into this. And now I'm just eating just to eat for fuel and gains.
So it's really become a lifestyle for you.
It's a lifestyle for sure.
And tell me a little bit about that lifestyle. Does it ever feel like it's restrictive to you in any way?
Not at all. In fact, the further I've gotten along into the program, and the better I've gotten with not just being like, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like you said, if I want something, I went to wine country and I had a couple glasses of tastings of wine, but it didn't set me back at all on anything. I just jumped right back on plan. And I don't feel like I ever have to say, no, I'm good. And I really, really want it. My mom just made cookies. I was like, thanks, but no thanks. If it's a peanut butter cookie and it's ooey gooey, I might have a bite, but that's it.
I love it. All right, Jennifer, tell us a little bit about you and your journey.
So I've been with Jules since the end of July I started. So it's been a short 5 months. And what I've gotten out of this program is beyond my expectations. I think I just came in expecting to not be addicted to sugar, and I've gained so much more than that. And I don't really know. I just knew that I didn't want to. I was working out, and I wasn't losing any weight. And I didn't really have a set goal weight. I just knew that I didn't want to look at myself in the mirror and be disgusted with what I saw. And so one of my biggest wins is just this complete change in mindset, I already knew that our mind is very powerful and has an effect on every physical aspect of our body, but I didn't realize how much my mindset is like so powerful over everything in my life. And so for me, like that's my biggest win, is being able to overcome these obstacles and feel phenomenal. Like I walk by the mirror and I have to like look at my booty. I swear, like I do it all the time now. I'm like, oh damn, okay, I got these. I'm getting these booty gains. It's not where I want to be yet, but I'm getting there. So it's just like, all these underwears look so cute on me. It's just amazing the difference that I feel, you know, and you know, I've like I said, I've gained so much more, and to be at the weight that I never even thought was possible, like you know, like that just blew my expectations out of the water. Like I'm just
threw all your clothes away.
I know. I literally she called me the other day. I was like, I am getting rid of all these clothes because I'm never going to fit into them again, and I don't want to. So goodbye clothes. And now I have to
Go shopping.
Get a whole new
That's
wardrobe.
fun. Yeah, that's huge. You know, I actually two things I want to talk about, but one is, yeah, I know when you flip the switch, and it's funny. You're not the only one, but I see that a lot. Like when the light bulb goes on, and then it's just like out of control roller coaster. And you know, Jennifer is really correct on that. The mind, which we're going to talk about a lot today when it comes to binge eating, really does control a lot of things, good and bad. So when I say it flips a switch, a lot of times when I see that switch flip in somebody's head, to be honest with you, a lot of times what will happen is their metabolism will even kick up faster. Their body will start to behave very, very differently, to a point where I may recognize it in their check-ins and how they're communicating with me, but then I'll really start to recognize it as they start to check in. I start to see the changes in their body, not just them dropping weight, but the changes in their body, because the mind is like so powerful. And Jennifer, you're a huge, I mean, Amber, you are too, but like most recently, Jennifer, you're like a huge example of that. I mean, like I saw your shoulders today. I'm like, holy, this girl is really starting to get strong and tough and develop a shape. And it really just truly started to happen as soon as you flipped that switch in your mind.
Yes, absolutely.
You started believing in yourself.
Yes, I am.
Really,
and like being in the gym too, to push myself and to like go a little bit higher in weight, or, you know, do one more rep, you know, like I'm just so motivated.
It's
Crazy what you start to do when your confidence changes.
Yes. And that's true too. I've been watching some of the videos, and I can totally see a shift in your confidence. That's absolutely correct, Amber. So I love that, Jennifer, and both of you guys. You've had some huge wins. And just as a sidebar, actually, we have Coach Amber in here, but we shortly have Coach Jennifer too. So both of these ladies are going to be joining the tribe. Well, they already kind of have. If you've been wondering what's going on, and are moving into an assistant coach's role, to then actually develop into coaches within the tribe. So we'll have more than just me, because we're growing.
And growing.
Yeah. All right. So let's dive a little bit deeper in there. And again, guys, I know that everybody's busy with the holidays. So if you're watching this on the replay, #replay, let us know that you come on in. But we wanted to make sure that we came in here and dropped a little bit of knowledge on you. So, you know, there's 5 things that I like to talk about when it does come to what we call AKA binge eating. And binge eating, honestly, is a lot of what we just talked about leading into here. So I'm glad that both of these ladies brought this up. But it really is all centered around the mind. And one of the biggest things that you're going to hear me kind of reiterate as I go through these 5 tips that I have, that I feel are really big ones, is food is fuel. And quite often we mistake food for other things. And it becomes an emotional trigger. So number 1 is identifying the trigger. There's always a trigger that causes us to mindlessly eat. And usually that trigger is some type of emotion. So it could be sadness, it can be excitement, But generally and most commonly, it is stress. Stress is what will lead us to eating, because if you didn't know this, there's actually a scientific thought process around this. So what happens when we become stressed is the body actually does crave junk food and sugar, because there's a chemical in the brain that actually triggers this, because it soothes us. So the body wants the sugar, it wants the junk food to create this euphoria, if you will, in our brain. If you have experienced this and you are tuning in, drop some fire below or say me. Have either one of you? Yes. And the thing to remember, guys, is it's
been a while for me, but
temporary thing. It's temporary. And then really to just kind of feed into this is, especially if it's stress, what happens is that Nancy's dropping us some fire. So what happens is it is a temporary fix. So, imagine yourself in your bedroom with the pint of ice cream, right? And oh God, this feels really good. I feel better. And then the pint is gone.
And then you're mad at yourself.
Exactly. So what I was just going to say, excuse my French, fuck me. You're sitting there, you're upset. Now what's happened to the stress level? It's gone up more. Yep. And then you sometimes will fall into what we call an all or nothing mentality. Well, fuck it. It's the fuck it mentality. I already killed the pint of ice cream. I might as well just go grab that other one that I know that's down there. Oh, and the bag of Doritos too. Fuck it. So the number one thing that you really want to do, guys, to avoid the binge eating is identify the trigger. So drop that in the comments below. I want to hear you all type out, identify the trigger. Once you have identified the trigger, then what you want to do is have a strategy in mind. Create a plan. What are you going to do besides eat? Because food is fuel, guys. It's not going to solve any world problems. It's not going to take your stress away. It's not going to make you happier. It's not going to make you sadder. It's not going to do anything for you, but fuel your body at the end of the day. So you want to develop a strategy. So for me, example, and then they're leaving me right when I want to ask them questions.
I'm here. She's here.
So what I'll do is, if I'm stressed, I generally will identify it. So I will center myself for a minute. And I will ask myself, are you really hungry? Not really. Nope. This is just something that maybe is passing. It's something, and you can quickly identify that. Am I really hungry, or is this an emotional trigger? And it's super simple. If you pause for 1 second and ask yourself that question, you'll have the answer pretty quickly. Then what I'll do is I'll lace up my shoes and go for a walk, or I'll go to the gym, or I'll do something active that will actually de-stress me. Okay. Now I'm talking about stress, something that's going to free my mind of what I think that I want and actually create some good, healthy endorphins. Now there's other ways of doing it. There's meditation, there's reading, there's a lot of other things that you can do, but we're talking right now about stress, ladies. What do you do, Amber and Jennifer, when you identify that trigger that comes along with, because I know you both still have it. So what do you do when that happens? How do you identify it? And then how do you handle it? What is the strategy you have in place to handle it?
Well, for me, it depends on where I am, because that will be dependent on what I can do. So like sometimes I'll have a cup of hot tea, because that will usually help. I love peppermint tea. And so if I drink a hot tea, then I'm having something so that way I'm not going in the pantry for whatever it is that I'm craving. I think sometimes just identifying like why I want that sugar, or why I want that popcorn chip, or whatever it is that I'm craving. Is it because my family's eating it, or is it because I'm actually hungry? have I not drinking water in a little while? Like there's a number of things that it could be. Sometimes it's just, like I see somebody else, they're just sitting in the front of the TV munching, and I'm like, I just want to snack on something because that's just what we've always done. It's just a habit.
Mhm.
And so instead I'll just grab a cup of hot tea instead and let it pass. I don't really go for walks right now because it's so stinking cold. And I'm a baby when it comes to the cold. So I don't really do that. At work, it's a little bit harder because we do potlucks every month and everybody brings something and there's just like an overabundance of food. So I just bring my food and I bring my snacks and whatever it is that I like to have. And if I'm craving chocolate, I usually have my sugar-free Lily's chocolate chips. So I'll put that like in my yogurt instead. And that will be my little sweet treat if I'm craving something. So that's usually how I combat that.
I honestly don't really, when I crave anything sweet, I just make myself an iced coffee. It's usually like my second one for the day. So I don't go over my 2, but I don't really have a sweet tooth. I never really did. So that helps. I mean, Halloween was rough with the Reese's peanut butter cups, but I look at it and I'm just like, no, it's really not worth it. But I drink water if my stomach's growling and I'm like, okay, I think it's time to chug some water. And that just curbs my hunger. But I'm not like much of a snacker grazer. I think it's because I've been on the program so long and I'm super like disciplined with it. But, obviously at work, I work in a bar where people are back there and there's fries and this and that. And I'm just like, unless it's my treat day and then I get a burger and fries and that's what it is. But I used to pick at that stuff. Like, I'll have to have a fry or whatnot. And, when you think about how much that changes everything in your macros, then you just stay away. Like I do.
So I love this. So both of you guys skipped ahead to a lot of my points, which you both hit on this a couple of times. So I'm going to skip over number 2. I'm going to go to number 3, mindful eating. Okay. And this is really what you heard from these ladies. So we're going to call this number 2. So everybody in the chat box, if you are watching right now, number 2 is mindful eating. So number 1, identify the trigger. You should have all dropped that already in the comments. Number 2 is practicing mindful eating. So what you've heard these ladies talk about is really avoiding the mindless eating. Okay. So Jennifer talked about tea. So she didn't really talk about like what she does when she's stressed, but she did talk about a lot about mindless eating. She mentioned the family all snacking, potlucks, things happening around her, as well as Amber talking about working in a bar and having things around her. And in the past, what would happen is they would both nibble. That's called mindless eating. So really what you want to do is create more mindful eating. And they both spoke about really, and they're ahead of me on this. So they both spoke about how they identify, like, is it really hunger? Or do I just want to eat because I want to eat? Now, this is a very unfortunate thing for all of us. Okay, guys? So nobody that is watching this, give yourself grace. All right? You need to give yourself grace because in the world we live in today, this is truly how we have been brought up. I'm not blaming your parents, not blaming anybody else. I'm going to tell you this is society. It's all over the television. It's how we're brought up. It's on social media. We're always being presented with this is what we do. This is how we treat emotion. We treat it with food. I mean, I don't mean to be ignorant or rude about this, but how do you think that, I'm going to go out on a limb and say 90%, 90%, 95%. Well, I'm going to be nice. 80% of America is overweight and obese. It's because we've been, you go to any other country, guys, and it's not like that. In most countries, if you travel.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's most countries. In fact, right here in Mexico, I mean, there's a few, that got big old booties on them, which, aren't that bad. But for the most part, So practicing mindful eating. So really paying attention, as these girls said, is to the hunger. And really what I've coached, and it's funny because I'm hearing my coaching coming out in them. Really what I like to say is, or how I will coach many of it is like stopping again, pausing, like I said in the beginning, and saying like, okay, I'm hungry. Am I hungry? Or do I just, and I have to do this myself sometimes, okay? Or do I just want that because I just want it?
Because
Like,
you're bored or
because you're bored. Exactly.
stressed.
Yep. Stressed. Good, Amber. Sad, happy. You want to celebrate something. Oh, I deserve this. I was so
Celebrations. Yes.
I deserve it.
I deserve
I've
it.
been so good all week.
I passed my test. I did this. I did that. And guys, I still hear it from clients sometimes. You know, well, I did this because I deserved it. Okay. And nobody's telling you not to do that. So this isn't saying that you should never enjoy yourself. However, you want to think about the big picture and what the ultimate goal is. And as Amber said, sometimes you just ask yourself, if you take a minute to pause, and then what is the answer? Is it, do you really want it? You heard Amber talk about, she really wants it. She has it. But if it's not something that she really wants, and she identifies that it's really just a trigger that's happening, then she practices mindful eating, and she just says, nah, I'm just going to grab some water. I'm going to have some other food. Jennifer talked about it too. I'm going to have some tea. Tea is great. And what I wanted to talk about with Jennifer talking about tea, that is actually a really good strategy, because if you are stressed out and you can't go for a walk, tea is very calming and centering. To sip on a glass or a cup of tea, to pick up a book and read can be very de-stressful, and it's not a bag of popcorn or a pint of ice cream. So practicing mindful eating, guys, really remembering food is fuel. And, you know, what is it? Like, are you really hungry? And practicing the pause too. That's huge. If you pause before it goes into your mouth and think about it, that's going to give yourself some time to really consider if you're hungry or not. Now, you know, sometimes it's hunger. You'll know it's hunger because your belly's growling at you. You feel like you want to eat your arm off maybe, you know, and if it's hunger, eat. Don't starve yourself. Food is fuel. So I've said that numerous times, guys. If you are just tuning in, I want to see you in the hashtag, or just type in the comments, food is fuel. All right, ladies, do you have anything to add on to that before I go to part 2?
Not really.
3.
No.
All right, 3 actually, because you guys got me out of room, is have a plan. All right, we've talked about that already. So you always want to have a plan, AKA a meal plan. This will save you from binge eating a lot. So we talked about having a plan going into an event or a party, but as a whole in your life, you want to have a plan. So if you're coaching under me, you probably have a plan. If you're just tuning in and you don't have a coach, you've never really investigated it, you don't have a plan as far as your nutrition goes, and you're just winging it, and you have breakfast in the morning and maybe something to eat at night, you want to find some structure. You want to have a plan. And in that plan, you want to think about how often you eat and what you're eating, creating some balance with your meals. So number 1, the more often that you fuel your body, so the more often that you eat, the less likely you are going to want to mindlessly eat, because your brain, your body is fueled. You're already eating. Every 2.5, 3 hours, you're done. All right. So taking your caloric intake, spreading it out throughout the day, and fueling yourself every 2.5 to 3 hours. Plus, the bonus behind that is it'll speed up your metabolism. But it will keep you considering, like, you will always be fueling your body, so you'll never feel like you're neglecting it. The second part of creating a plan or a meal plan is making sure that you have protein as part of your plan. And protein should be included in every single one of your meals. Think about this. If you're looking for a very simple way to build a plan, is you want to structure it and you don't really know what you're doing right now, is you would want to structure this around protein. Put protein first. You should be eating anywhere from, are you okay?
I'm great.
Okay.
Everyone's got the sniffles
We
here. My daughter's sick. She's sick.
So we just keep eyeballing each other.
Got it. So creating a plan and having protein is the center of all your meals. So thinking about eating anywhere from, I really like to say 4 to 6 times a day. Okay. If all you can do is 3, that's great. But I would say a minimum of 4. I like to say 3 meals, 3 snacks. Sometimes 3 meals, 2 snacks, kind of just depending on how much you need to eat. And then having protein as the center. So you should have about 100 grams of protein minimum a day. Good rule of thumb is 1 gram of protein per body pound, unless you're trying to gain a bunch of muscle. If you have a lot of weight to lose, that could be quite a lot of protein, and that's where I'll come back and say 100 grams minimum a day. So divide that out throughout your meals and making sure that you're having the protein. Number 1, protein helps to build muscle. Number 2, it's very satiating, meaning it's going to keep you full longer, okay? So you're not going to get starved and distracted. If you eat a bunch of carbohydrates, AKA snack food, junk food,
Crash.
Yes, Amber's correct. You will crash if it's sugar. And 2, it digests. It's simple sugars,
So
simple
fast.
carbohydrates, very, very fast and leave you hungry immediately.
Hence why you go have sushi and then you're starving like an hour later. You're like, I'm
Good
so
for you,
hungry.
girl, but that is why. Sushi's very good for you, but that is absolutely why. When you have a lot of carbohydrates, they process very quickly. So, if you wonder why you can sit down and polish off a bag of chips and then suddenly be hungry and want another bag of chips, that's why. It really is truly going back to what we just talked about, mindlessly eating, and it's not fueling your body. Therefore, you continue to mindlessly eat more and more calories because you're not fueling your body. So center it around protein. Everybody will write in the comments protein rules. You want to have protein with every single meal. Not to mention, as females, starting at the age of 40, we start to lose our muscle mass at about 5%. Not everybody, but as a general rule, 5% a year. We need to eat protein to maintain our muscle, to keep our metabolism running like a top, and making sure that we look like we're 20. All right.
Exactly.
Forever.
You guys are already kind of like talked about a lot of this as it came to you, but just real quickly while I have you guys here, just touch on that protein piece. Neither one of you were really eating enough before you came to me. I know that as a fact. And now you eat probably more than you did when you came to me, and you're continuing to lose weight or at least maintain. Protein, was it hard to get used to, and how do you kind of feel about it now?
I feel like I've gradually upped my protein. So since it was kind of more of a gradual thing, I don't think it's hard at all. I think shoving a bunch of carbs into my mouth is a lot harder because you're full faster. But I don't know. I eat probably like 300 grams of protein a day now. You just have me. And it's fine. 4 ounces of chicken 2 times, and then salmon. Now I get salmon again. I love it.
She doesn't eat 300 grams. I wrote her meal plan. It's not that.
What is it?
She might feel like it is, but she doesn't eat protein. Trust me.
Oh, it's a lot.
300 grams.
It's a lot. Well, no, it's not. It is a lot, but it's not 300. Maybe 200.
And just to sidebar that, I didn't. So I failed to remember that she might bring this up. So Amber is actually looking at upping her athletic, becoming more of an athlete, what I should say is, and really stepping on stage as a competitor. So right now we are actually increasing her caloric intake. Therefore, I am increasing her protein quite a bit. So that is not, she is eating a very abnormal amount of protein right now. But she has not up until this point. This was just something I did very, very recently, as in 2 days ago, and we're just going to see how her body handles it. But as a rule, guys, 1 gram per body pound. Now, if you are an athlete and you are in a specific sport that requires muscle building, so it not necessarily just bodybuilding, but it could be anything, you know, athletic where you require more protein. Yes, sometimes coaches will up your protein levels above 1 gram a pound, but for your average lifestyle person, 1 gram per body pound is perfecto.
What do you think about
Do you have anything to add to that, Jennifer?
So it was a little bit difficult at first just because I wasn't used to eating that much protein. And so I felt I got constipated. So I just had to up my digestive enzymes. So instead of just taking 1, I think you told me to take 2 or 3 or something like that. And so since I've been taking more enzymes, it's been fine. I've been regular, but like that was the only downfall that I like came into play with. But I do notice like on my high carb days, like I'm missing some more protein. Like I just want more protein for some reason, just because it fuels my body so much differently than carbs do. And it sustains me a lot longer. So I just notice. And then of course, you know, now that I'm at the gym and lifting more, like my body craves it.
Yeah. Yeah. So a couple things on that. So absolutely what Jennifer talks about, because most of you as lifestyle or more mature women, you don't eat enough protein. We tend to not, I myself included, I never ate enough protein before I really changed my habits. Eating more protein or more food in general can actually start to constipate you. So absolutely putting, starting to take a digestive enzymes. There usually comes a point in time where you don't need them as much, but your belly isn't used to digesting the food. And it's not really just because we don't want you to be constipated, which we don't. We also want to make sure that the food is getting broken down properly in the gut so that it is fueling your body properly. But that is something that definitely can happen. And I'm glad Jennifer brought that out. So if you're tuning in and you've heard this before, simply adding a probiotic and a digestive enzyme to your plan will help with that. But absolutely, if you're not accustomed to eating a lot of protein, even lean proteins, you can get a little backed up. Now, not to confuse the fact that our bodies need carbohydrates. Because proteins are what help build muscle, but carbohydrates are what give you the energy to pump those weights and build that muscle.
Yeah.
So carbohydrates are equally important and super important when we're trying to build muscle, to fuel your body with carbohydrates. They're not bad for you.
No.
They're actually very good for you. And the protein is really, it does help to build and repair the muscle. But the carbohydrates are what give you the energy to get through your workouts. So absolutely, having a plan and making sure that plan includes eating frequently, guys, as well as including protein in your plan. You don't ever want to skip meals either. Just to touch a little bit on having a plan is you don't want to skip meals. That's the other reason why you want to have a plan. So if you have an idea that you're going to be eating every 2.5 or 3 hours and you've got your food planned out with your protein, your carbohydrates, your vegetables, you're going to be fueling your body with a plan and an idea, and you're not skipping meals. Therefore, also, you're going to eliminate the binge eating because you're going to be satisfied eating.
Mindless eating. Nope. Absolutely.
Yeah. So there's a lot more I can say on that, but I know that we're trying to. So let's talk a little bit about your surroundings. So I like to say your vibe attracts your tribe, and your tribe's attracted to your vibe, and all of that. So what I mean by that is to help to avoid the overeating, binge eating, or the habits that we talked about with the triggers and the mindful eating is really being aware of who you're surrounding yourself with. Some may like this, some may not, but you really you want to make sure that you're in a very supportive situation. Being in a situation where you're not fully supported on your journey or what you're trying to do can make things very uncomfortable. It can cause triggers, AKA, that lead into mindless eating. Do we see the pattern that's going with my tips here? All of these things feed into each other. So really making sure you're in an environment and surrounded by people that are really going to celebrate and support you. And I'm going to be very honest here, and some may not like what I'm about to say, but if they don't support you,
Goodbye.
cut them loose, guys. They're not worth it.
See you later.
And a lot of times what's really important to understand is that sometimes, well, I like to say people come into our lives for seasons and some for reasons, right? And to add on to that, the other thing to think about is sometimes when you take a positive step in the direction in your life, and it could be fitness, health journey, or it could be something else. But when you take a step forward to better yourself, sometimes people around you can get very uncomfortable.
Yep.
The reason behind that, yep, you see these ladies both nodding their head. They've been in these situations. I know I think I actually know a couple of their situations that they could. I went through them with them very, very shortly. But basically, what happens is people will get uncomfortable, and it's because maybe they want these things for themselves, but they're not ready to make the commitment that you have made. Yep. Therefore, and I don't like to use the word lashing out, but because of their uncomfortedness, their fear, I should say, their fear of making the commitment, their fear of feeling it's watching you step out, they get super uncomfortable and therefore want to make you uncomfortable as well. So my biggest advice to you guys is you just got to step away, because that's not fair to you. You've made some pretty big decisions, some investments in yourself. And so you really need to want to be supported by people that are going to support you, and cut loose those that are not. That doesn't mean they're gone forever. They could come back.
When they're ready.
When they're ready.
Wait.
So drop some fire in the comments, guys, if you can identify with that. Let us know. You want my vibe attracts my tribe. Ladies, do you want to add on to that at all?
Okay, so when I decided to start this, I always, my husband and I have been together for a very long time. We've been together almost 19 years. And so we always talk to each other about finances and everything like that. And so like I told him, I was like, I really want to do this. This is for myself. And he said 100% like he would support me no matter what. And so he's like, whatever you're eating, I'm going to be eating too. So I would just meal prep his, and I would just up his calories a little bit more. But like I would meal prep all of mine, and I would do his too. And like he's just like, well, whatever you're having, like every single time, he's just like, I'm like, what do you want for dinner? Because sometimes I would make the kids something different. And he's like, I'm having whatever you're having, like completely 100% supportive of me the entire time. And because of it, like he's lost 30 pounds, I think maybe 35 pounds or something like that. He's like at 205. You're welcome. 176 right now or something. So like, just like he's just my biggest supporter. And I just like, I don't know what I would do if he wouldn't be supporting me, like. It would be really hard, like I'm just so grateful that he supports me. And then because of it, like my girlfriends too, at work, and like we would go to kickboxing together, and so they saw me doing it and they see the changes, and then they've joined. And so like I'm like so excited that I have this little support group and this network of amazing people, and like getting to know other tribe members, that go to the gym now, and Amber, and like it's just a unique network of people that are supporting one another, and like where else do you get that?
raises your energy and makes you want to do it even more.
You know, and then honestly, on top of all of that, like when you're happy, everyone around you can feel it.
Yeah.
So it's literally like everyone tells me, like, I love your attitude. And I'm like, I guess I'm this positive light for everyone that I didn't even know, but I feel good. So whatever. But I've been hearing that a lot lately. And I'm just like, wow, it's really good to know. Like, I guess that's a good thing for y'all.
It's
But I
huge.
did cut out a lot of negativity in my life.
Yeah.
So yes. And then, you know, just staying busy this holiday stuff. I'm so ready for it to be done. I love Christmas. Okay, bye.
I think we all kind of feel that way, but I love what so guys, if you didn't hear what, they just said, so, it's okay to let go of negativity, because as you just heard from both of these ladies, so guys, write that down in the chat box. It's okay to let go of negativity, because what you attract back is 10 times that. And they both spoke about this. You glow from the inside out, and it is 100% true. Your energy, because you're vibrating at a very different frequency than you were before. You're not down here.
Right.
Again, guys, that's where those negative Nellies, those naysayers are. And they don't like to feel that you're elevating up here. But once you elevate up here, you let that go, you start attracting all of these people that are elevating. It's contagious. At this level, they feed your energy, you feed theirs, and it's like euphoria. It's a great feeling. Like,
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, your vibe attracts your tribe.
Right.
Absolutely. All right, guys, this is a simple one. All right. And both of these ladies talked about it, but it's super, super simple. Drink your water. They've both been drinking water. I have a gallon over there that I can't get, and I actually have to stop drinking.
Cheers.
But drink your water.
Like mine's over there.
A lot of times, guys, mindless eating, this is so simple. This is the simplest one that you can really attach yourself to, is drinking your water, because 90% of the time when you want to snack or mindless eat, it is due to the fact that you are dehydrated. Dehydration masks itself as hunger 99.9% of the time. So one of the first things when you're looking at triggers and all of these things, when you pause to ask if you're hungry, and Amber hit on this earlier, a lot of times you got to be like, actually, am I thirsty? Right. I challenge you to drink some water if you think you're hungry, and let it sit for 15 minutes, because you probably are dehydrated. And I get that a lot. A lot of times ladies will check in and they're like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And then I'll get down to the question where it says, are you drinking all your water? And they're not drinking even half of it. And then they're telling me I'm really hungry. You're not hungry. You're dehydrated. You're thirsty, and your body thinks it's hungry. So that's like one of the number one things. You truly aren't hungry. Your body's dehydrated, and it then triggers the fact that you want to eat. So drink some water, stay hydrated. And how you can kind of tackle that, during the holidays, is making sure that you are drinking all of your water throughout the day. And here's a little tip, bonus tip for you. If you're going to consume alcohol, the best thing to do is to have an extra glass of water for every glass of wine or alcoholic beverage you have, because alcohol dehydrates you. And it's actually the reason why you get a hangover, besides the sugar that you're consuming with the alcohol, if you have a sugary mixer, and it's what gives you the hangover. So if you don't want a hangover,
drink extra water.
Drink your extra
Same with caffeine if you're not a drinker.
Yes.
But I like coffee, and I do like black tea, and it's the same thing though. Like, it will dehydrate you, so you have to make sure that you are drinking water to combat. Or energy drinks too.
Yeah, that's a really good point. So if you are drinking an energy drink or a cup of coffee, and I love my coffee, my cold brews myself. I haven't actually been doing energy drinks lately, but I used to. And I have a rule, I won't allow myself to have my midday coffee, like my cold brew treat, because I like Amber. I don't have a sweet tooth, but I do like to treat myself with like a cold brew in the middle of the day. But I'm looking over at my jug of water right now. If it's half gone, which it's well over half gone, I'll prove it to you in a minute. But I don't allow myself to have that caffeine. So yeah, and then I usually will always, when I order a cold brew or a coffee, I will usually order water with it. So in fact, if you watch my story today, I did have a cold brew. It's on my story, and you'll notice right next to it every time I post that is a bottle of water. So I have my coffee, and then I chase it with the water, and I still drink my full gallon. So guys, stay hydrated. Super, super important, and like one of the best tricks to avoiding binge eating. So if you're hungry, like go grab yourself some water.
Yep.
Everybody
Usually it's not hunger.
Water drop signs in the comments and say, I'm going to drink more water. I commit to drinking more water. Ladies, how much water should they be drinking? I'm not sure if I told them.
1 gallon, minimum 1 gallon.
120 ounces, right?
Yep, 120 ounces or a gallon of water is really what you should be drinking. It can vary depending on the climate that you live in and the amount of exercise you do. But honestly, you can't go wrong with 120 ounces. So guys, if you have any questions, let us know. We're going to hang out here for a minute or two. If you watch this on the replay and you have questions, hashtag replay and drop the questions. We will be checking this to come back and answer any questions that you might have. But I appreciate you guys all joining. Ladies, do you have anything you want to add in?
I just want to say that I have fell to that mindless eating and that all or nothing mentality. And I tell you, like, you can come out of it because I came out of it, and it's okay. Like, it's okay that you fall off the wagon, but you jump back on and you just get that motivation and that drive to just keep pushing through and just trust the process. Because I used to have that all or nothing mentality, and like I would fall short, and then all of a sudden I was like, oh crap, like I'm not going to come out of this. Like, I don't know why I thought that I couldn't come out of this, and it wasn't like that big of a deal, but in my head it was like a huge deal. And so like just reaching out to tribe members, like we've been there, we know, like I know where you're at, like I've been there, and I'm like a huge sugar addict. So like there's like one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. So, like it just triggers me. So if you're struggling or if you like think that you've gone off the deep end, like you haven't, and you don't have to continue to think that way, and we will help you.
Absolutely. So Nancy just dropped in the comments. Thank you, Nancy, for being honest. I look forward to seeing this on your check-in too. Nancy just wrote, I had a cookie at work today and immediately wanted another one, but I fought it and drank some water.
Yes.
2 points to that. So Nancy's actually brand new to the tribe, and I'm going to let you guys jump in on this. But number one of the things that I actually eliminate, and we didn't really talk about this because I was top lining a lot of stuff, but I eliminate sugar from everybody's meal plan. Or your idea. And the idea behind this is trigger. And you can Google online, and there's a million coaches out there that are going to tell you that you don't have to eliminate sugar, and you don't have to do this, and you can still blah, blah, blah. That's not me. Okay. So reasons why not to join my tribe, if that's what you think that I'm going to ask you to do, because I really want to help you. And sugar is basically an evil trick the world has played. And what it does is, guys, it is one of those soothers. Your body craves it when it's stressed because of what I talked about in the beginning, and it gives you a temporary relief. The other thing is it's highly addictive, and Nancy just touched on this. So the reason why I eliminate it from your plan is to get you to a point where you really don't want it anymore, because one is, as Jennifer said, and then Nancy just said, one is not enough, and 1,000, or one is too much and 1,000 is not enough. Like, you will just start to snowball out of control sometimes when it comes to sugar, and it's not your fault.
Right.
It's not your fault. It's the fault of sugar. It's like that's
It's
how
poison.
It
It makes
is.
you crave it. The more you eat, the more you want more.
kind of like, I hate to say it, it's kind of like crack cocaine. Yeah, the more you want. And then that's just really not a very good thing. So the one thing, yeah, you just, so that is why I do have you guys eliminate sugar from your meal plan, to
never
you get
forget.
to a point where you really don't want it anymore. And Nancy, the other thing, so now Nancy, you know why, but two, I'm super proud of you, and I think we all need to celebrate Nancy, is
Yes.
Good job, Nancy.
Drinking water. That
Wanna
was
bite it?
amazing.
and she took control of the situation.
Yes.
She had some water. So high five to you, girl. That is super great.
Yeah.
But Jennifer, you've been there too, I know.
Yes.
For me, it's like if I have like the one time I feel like you tried to kill me when you told me to go get a cookie from Crumble Cookies, and you're like, you know what? You can have two. I had one, and I was like, ugh, throw up. I'm so sick. Because my body I'm not used to the sugar. I don't really crave it. I don't like it that much. So, I mean, everyone likes their little sweets here and there, but I'm a nibbler. Like, okay, I'll have a bite of a cookie, and that's good for me. But when you said have a whole cookie, I was like, I cannot have another one. There's no way. But it was good, and it actually helped, I think, because it made me realize that like I don't need anything like that. I'll go get some sushi.
We'll chat a little bit because it's a fun conversation. So Amber was a unique situation. She was a bit of a runaway train for me in a minute, and her metabolism was out of control. And the more I fed her, the faster her metabolism went, which is exactly what I wanted to do, but I needed it to slow down a little bit. So I had her go get
runaway train.
Yeah, she was a runaway train on me. So we had and it worked. I solved the problem. And honestly, it's not even a bad thing. Like every once in a while, I will have a little sugar too. So it's really where you put it, or honey, or even artificial sugar. So a lot of times, like even if you're currently on a plan with me, you'll notice that after a workout, I quite often will give you like fruits or something like that, something with a little bit, because you actually need that. So with Amber, when she's talking about a cookie, I was like, okay, I'm going to throw the wrench at her.
It's like you never have anything different.
I literally had her go get a cookie right after her workout. That was her post-workout snack, right? And she is right. She messaged me and she's like, I hate you right now. I've never been told that after telling somebody to get a cookie. But she's also right in the fact that like she doesn't have a super sweet tooth, but it actually kind of curbed her from wanting that. And I tell this story because I recently had another tribe member. If she tunes into this, she's going to know who she is. That has this thing with cheese, and I take dairy out of your meal plans a lot of times too. Not that I feel like dairy is an enemy. It's just dairy can sometimes. We won't go down this road because that's not what this call is about, but it can kind of throw our hormones off of whack. It can do a lot of kind of crazy things. So I like to just kind of clean it out. And most women will find that their body starts to behave a lot better hormone wise,
Yes.
Without the sugar and without the dairy, as well as even like constipation, things like that will start to clear up their digestion, just eliminating dairy. So, and bloat. And this particular person like was always going to the cheese. And so she was actually doing very, very well on the plan. And she started with a meal prep company that I utilize, MegaFit. And so she told me all the foods that she wanted. Okay. And she's actually in the maintenance right now. And I said, that's a lot of cheese. Like, are you sure you just want all that? Yeah, I want all of that. So fast forward about a week into this, she's like, I keep losing weight. I look good, feeling really well, but I'm bloated. I let it continue. I said, oh, really? We went on for about 2 weeks. I said, maybe I should pull a little of the dairy out of your meal plan. She's like, don't tell me twice. She said, I was about to tell you, please get this shit out of my meal plan. And I just like put my little devil horns out there. And I was like, oh, so dairy is not necessarily your friend. She's like, you did that on purpose, didn't you? And I was like, she's like, well, touche, lesson learned. Kind of like Amber, she no longer really wants dairy anymore. She's prefer not to say it. So a little, yeah, sometimes I play games, but not all the time. But anyway, yeah, you will find, and my point behind that is when you start, and really what I was kind of trying to get to here in a funny way for you guys to kind of understand it is really once it's gone, you really don't miss it.
Right.
You really don't even want it. So there, again, it comes back to the triggers and the mindless and the mindful eating. So guys, if this was helpful, give these, Nancy's laughing at you, give these ladies some fire for joining me. Let us know that this was helpful.
She's laughing at you.
All right. Anything else, ladies, before we tune out?
Nope. I hope everyone has a happy, safe holiday and keeps that eating mindful. Drink lots of water and don't binge.
And don't deprive yourself, guys.
Right.
Don't deprive yourselves. As if you've tuned into my past Tribe Talks where I talked a little bit more specifically about the holidays, don't deprive yourself. But these ladies all touched on it already. It is about being super mindful about what you're eating. And do you really want it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Or are you just eating it because everybody else at the damn table is? Like I like to say, like, if you really love pumpkin pie and there's pumpkin pie and apple pie, in front of you, but the apple pie, you're like, yeah, okay, well, put a slice on my plate, Grandma, because like it's there. But you really want the pumpkin pie? Don't have the apple pie. Have the damn pumpkin pie.
You need both.
That's what's going to bring you joy. Now, if you love them both and you need a bite of them, well, actually, go ahead. But
have half and half. Half and half.
But it's got to bring you, think about what really brings you joy. And you'll know the answer to that, guys, because it's what you think about. And it's not because you're hungry. It's not because you're craving it. It's things that you really, truly enjoy and cherish about your family in these moments. So, yes, have an amazing holiday, guys. Thank you for tuning in. And Feliz Navidad.
Peace. Bye.
Thank you, ladies. Bye.